Hello. Welcome. It's Thursday at the 4:30 hour. We're here live on Thursday. RC Network, Robin Morales, with the one and only. You know him as the Sheena. I call him Cory. Please welcome Cory. Sheena.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It is not Taco Tuesday. It's more like relax, get ready for Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday.
You can eat tacos on Thursday.
There's a certain reason I bring that up. We'll be talking about that later, but
Yeah.
there is an affiliation to the Tuesday and the taco itch, I will say.
They're synonymous with success.
So I want to thank everybody for coming here. We are prepping. We are getting ready for our event on October 20th. So please log in. We have the link at the bottom if you want to see Cory here live and in person from Rocket Mortgage. Meet him here on October 20th. Link below for tickets. But how you doing, sir?
Doing great. I'm looking forward to that event.
Are you really?
Yeah. It's gonna be
Intense.
It's gonna be intense. We're way cooler in 3D than in 2D. Like you can see us in 3D. It's gonna be awesome.
You can't get the impression here. I mean, I'm growing out this beard for the event, and all I want to do is just shave the damn thing off.
Yeah.
It's like I try to look, a little bit more elegant, a little bit more reserved, revered, perhaps.
Distinguished.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's itchy is all done up, but so I'm thinking about cutting it off.
I don't support that. I shave my mustache off, and I can't even look at myself in the screen right now.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine you without a mustache.
I know. It's actually it's depressing.
So I want to thank everybody for joining us. We're here to talk about not so much on the Thursday show, not so much about what we do as a business, but through the lens of entrepreneurship. We want to kind of take a perspective. There's so many things that we embark upon in this journey that is small business and entrepreneurship that, it's hard to really capsulize what that is. And I think for the most part, and you can chime in whenever you want, but, for the most part, you feel alone in this process. As you're going through, as you're building a business, nobody really understands, and the people around you, wives, family members, they kind of point at you and be like, why are you so working so hard? Why are you so obsessed? Why are you doing that video for the 10th time? Because I've done that too. When I posted a video, maybe last week, the music video I was playing, I took maybe about 20 takes. And after about the 22nd one, I'm like, this has been an hour and a half. I'm just going to pick one. So I ended up picking one. And I posted on social media. I'm like, oh, people actually liked it. Because, I think you find fault in everything you do.
Yeah.
But again, going back to that sense of just being isolated at times, in that journey, do you feel that way too?
So the way I'd quantify that is people do understand, and they understand from a rational standpoint. Like if you were to lay it out on a piece of paper very simply for them, they would understand. Everybody could understand a business or an entrepreneur, but being an entrepreneur and being dialed into your business is irrational to a point for a lot of people. So they understand, but they don't understand you approaching things at a certain degree because it could be viewed as irrational if it's not their dream or what they're passionate about or what they're driven about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah, one of the most common things I get is like, hey, can you just spend a little time with me? And like, yeah, but I have just one more email. Just give me 5 more minutes. 30 minutes later, you're like, okay, I'm almost there. Oh,
for sure.
It's just this ongoing, battle. I think within yourself, because there's so much of you that wants. I think at the end of the day, a life, right? And life is pretty poorly defined. I think at times, growing up, we identify that as having things, cars, houses, and then as you get older, at least at my age, because Cory's a little bit younger than me.
Just hair.
A hair. A couple black hairs versus white hairs. But as you get a little bit older, it becomes less about the things and becomes more about the ambition sometimes. And you trade the goal for things for more of the passion piece of that. But I don't know. I'm in a different kind of mindset where I've had basically everything, all the tangible stuff, the house, the cars, everything else. And through divorce, lost it all. And then building myself back up, finding my sense of confidence, finding who I am again. And that is a significant journey, you know, and it's hard to really articulate that. And again, I don't know if this resonates with you too, when you start a business, every deal is like a deal and it has to work. Right. That first 6 months, you're like that first 6 months in business I was in, 0 contracts. You're like, I'll call you back. I'll do whatever I'll do an MLS. I'll do another report. Just use me. And then you become very needy, and then you realize after a time that, man, I was really needy at that point. But
yeah,
at the beginning, every deal, every phone call, every person that contacts you, it's like it's everything.
Yeah.
And then over time that kind of diminishes, and you kind of relax a little bit. But that idea, that presence is still there. Like even now, like Violet doesn't understand at all. Like when people call me 8:00 at night, I'm like, she doesn't understand. Like 8 years ago, I would have died for that phone call 8:00 at night because I needed the deal. I needed a transaction.
It's great that you don't lose sight of that. I think you have to find the business because you don't have a defined sphere, you don't have defined relationships, you don't have longevity, you don't have any presence. So you have to go out and find it when you're starting out like that.
Yeah.
And then the more and more you find it and drive to it, then there's a tipping point where then business starts finding you. And then you can't turn anywhere without it finding you, and then that's an amazing spot to be in. But it's good that you don't lose that drive because a lot of people get overwhelmed and then try to iterate a new version of the project or reinvent themselves and then end up getting away from that big time. So it's a great skill set to have.
Yeah, and to be honest, like last month I had 4 closings.
Yeah.
Which is, a pretty good situation for any agent out there. I had 4 closings, and when those closed, I'm like, get back to that center of like, oh my God, I had a really good month, and I'm pretty much the rest of the year is kind of paid for it. I don't have to worry about, finance or anything, but I still have that sense of like scarcity, that sense of like, if I don't address everybody's needs, then I'm going to like lose another deal. It never goes away.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about like, not only passion, but that journey of entrepreneurship. And I think that it's got to be within you to kind of find balance between being neurotic about something, and being neurotic is a fairly strong term, meaning that everything in your life it's at a detriment. Like you're so into it that everything falls apart. But you got to find that balance between living life and then living that passion. I mean, it's hard. I don't know if you found that balance yet.
I can't quote this video exactly right, but they're basically components of successful people, like criteria of successful people, and one of them was never feeling like you're good enough. I think that on a level, that's what you're talking about, of like the scarcity, and not that you're like, I need to live in a palece and make billions of dollars. Like that's not you. That's not who you are. But not good enough in the sense that we'll take a palace.
I mean, if it's $1 million mansion in Cali on La Jolla, I mean, maybe
we'll take it. Yeah, if you could take it or not, we'll take it. But having that level of I'm not good enough is a really positive thing to have, because then it will always. I mean, we make 1,000 decisions in a day, right? And if all of your decisions are made of I'm not good enough, I can do better, then those decisions are going to compound on them, and you get more results that way.
Yeah, and I guess we can relate that back to social media, right? Yeah. And the things that we do as entrepreneurs and people out there. And I'm sure anybody that starts any business, the first automatic thing that you'll either be inclined to do or people will advise you on is like, get on social media.
Social media is a beast.
It is different and it's disingenuous and reveals, I think, a part of us that is subconscious, maybe innate, where we have this innate ability to want to connect, and we strive and want to connect, but I don't think social media is the place for that.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get connectivity it can be a path to social media, like you can get your foot in the door to connect with somebody, but yeah, on a deeper level, I'm not connecting with someone's Instagram page and learning everything about them on a deeper level, but I'll find them that way. That's a good way to meet somebody. Yeah,
I'll do photo work and I'll crop and edit, bags under the eyes and, make your skin a little bit more flush.
Yeah.
And people like that and they'll post it because that reveals the best sense of who they want to be, but it's not necessarily who they are.
No, I mean, think about just the concept of posting a picture for thousands of people to see, and some people you don't even know, you would want to make sure that you look decent at best. So yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Well, and then talking about social media, you are kind of on social media a little bit. You're on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm in the game.
You are. I've seen a lot of his videos. If you're on TikTok, go to mortgage_Sheena. and find Cory on TikTok, because TikTok's kind of your world, right? That's your presence. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say it's my world necessarily. I was of a mindset.
That's where I see a lot of.
Good, yeah, I'm glad you see it. No, I was of the mindset, like a lot of people, where TikTok was kind of for like 14-year-olds to do the cool dances, and like not for me necessarily.
Yeah.
And I had a good conversation with a friend, because I was, building a personal brand, Sheena, short for machine. You get it.
I kind of picked that up.
And, I was talking about doing mailers in a newspaper, and it was in like up North Michigan newspaper, and it was like, I forget, X amount of 100 per month. And I was telling my friend about it, and he was like, who's going to pick up the newspaper, flip to page 16, see your face, and then build a brand that way? I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, look around.
Yeah.
Everybody is on their cell phone right now. They're like, this is how you build a personal brand. Like, no one's opening up the newspaper right now and flipping through there. So it's a great way to build a presence and a personal brand. And I would say after about a week of getting comfortable posting videos, then we're all worried about like our friend group saying like, oh, you're a TikTok champion now. After about a week, like, it's just something that you do. And like, actually, if you post really cool stuff that's high level, that's like interesting and people can learn from it, I've got a huge amount of support from it. So
because cool. This is really a slice of you. This isn't really all of you. You know what I mean? And sometimes, like we talked about before we got on the show, like I do video editing, and with video editing, you do a lot of what you feel is best presents that person, that company, or whatever story you're trying to tell. You put it in the best light possible, and it has, it's diluted a little bit, because you're not really seeing the whole picture. And that's kind of what a lot of the social media does. It does serve some sort of engaging piece, or at least the talking point. As we go on in society and our culture, I don't know what kind of where it's putting us.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to turn into a philosophical discussion. If anyone wants to chime in, they can too, about their perspective on social media. But I really think it's diluting us in our communication with each other.
Yeah, I get a little worried. I mean, I'm not in the schools, but I get a little worried when I think about kids, of how much they're on social media apps, and like,
because you have your own kids, right?
I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and like, I mean, it sucks you in. Like, you can feel like like you can lose 20 minutes like that, and you're like, whoa, what happened back there? So
I hate Facebook for that, by the way. Facebook, Meta, we have some issues, because I get sucked into those stupid video reels all the time, and for some, I know there's a psychological component into that's built into that, but it sucks you in, and it doesn't allow you to really, I guess, convey yourself. Because I will tell you, people are so bold in the way they say and treat you on social media versus how they are in real life. Like if you hated me on social media and I was here in front of you, I don't think you'd say anything like negative about me, because you would hold back.
Right.
Because I'm an angry person.
Yeah.
I'm a Hulk.
It's the beard.
Turned green.
Intimidating. I wouldn't say anything to that beard.
Hulk beard. But no, I mean, I'm concerned that our culture is definitely shifting away from being able to communicate. We have our networking events, and we try to manifest ways where people can connect, and through action more than words, because people have a hard time communicating. Right. A lot of people are turning into introverts, which is kind of weird.
Well, people are always going to gravitate towards the easy. So if I had the choice of surfing online for a couple of hours, or putting myself out there and going to an event where I'm going to meet a bunch of people I've never met before and have to talk about myself, I would choose the latter. But what you should choose is getting yourself out of your comfort zone, because that's where the magic happens. That's where the fun happens. But it's hard, if you're not used to it, and if you get stuck in that rut, and then, your patience lowers big time, because you're just constantly getting appeased by social media. I mean, we're going down a philosophical rabbit hole now.
You know what I like, though, especially at our events? I like to put people close to fear as possible. Because then they become their true selves. They respond more genuinely. That sense of like when you're getting on a roller coaster, there is that feeling deep in your stomach where it's uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen next. There's that probability that the rails are going to like fly off, and then you're going to die because you're on this crazy roller coaster. But if you're standing on the sidelines, you see so many just keep going through, and that buildup in your stomach it can either go one of two ways, right? You can either go one of like devastation and you just encompassed full of fear and worry, or you can go like, hey, this is exciting. I'm going to embark upon something I've never done before. So at that point, like that's the same feeling, but it's a choice at that point. And it's not until you recognize what that feeling is and where it's coming from, do you then therefore recognize a choice. But so many people, like especially on social media, they'll see stuff and they'll either be afraid of it or question it and never approach that.
Right.
And just push off. Like especially if they didn't like you, they wouldn't say anything to you in person.
Right.
You know, so there is something to be said. I like fear.
Yeah.
I like exploring fear a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about major milestones in your life, there was definitely fear involved. Like, you wouldn't be happy to accomplish something if you weren't afraid that you were going to fail. Yeah. Or else it would just be like a thing.
Yeah, and in the heart of an entrepreneur, I mean, you have to embrace that fear and then obviously make the choice. And starting off in social media, did you have that fear too? I mean, I don't know how many posts you've done. We can go back to the very first one.
Yeah.
Like this is the very first
Hey,
one.
what's up, you guys? It's Cory, aka the Mortgage Sheena. I'm super excited to be posting and providing a lot of content and value in inches for you guys. This is more of like the back of the book summary of what to expect when you come and visit the page. So number one, I've been in the mortgage industry for 10 years, helped over 2,000 families achieve the American dream of purchasing a property. And with that, I got unique perspective on a couple of things that I'm going to be giving back. So number one, mortgage rules, the stuff that you don't know that you need to know. I'll be providing that for you every Tuesday. Number two,
what I wanted to bring up, especially in this video, we don't have to watch the whole thing, but was this the very, very first video you did?
That was the very, very first one, yeah.
Because that's way different than the videos I'm seeing now.
Yeah, right. I was definitely like really, really shy and like hesitant to like show my personality.
So what was going on in your mind at this time?
So I actually came up with like what I wanted to bring to the table with TikTok, like literally like a business plan for TikTok, which is not necessarily what TikTok is for. You should plan it. You should be strategic and creative. But I was literally planning it like it was like a business plan. So like going through my head, it was just anxiety. Is this stupid? Am I amongst 14 other videos of teenagers dancing? And
I don't see any dancing here.
I did zero dancing. I mean, you got that natural anxiety of like, my friends are going to see this and be like, oh, you're on TikTok now. So that's probably what was going through my head.
Yeah, and it's not until you actually did it. I mean, for me, the same thing. I have videos from that you can look and control like from years ago, and that same anxiety exists. But it wasn't until you actually take that step and the things that you fear the most that you really see the success of it. And I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know what you term success in, but when you talk about success, I mean, we're several hundred videos later. I don't know how many videos you got, but we're now back to this. So. Let's see what this has to say. Okay, I'm gonna pick out something more fun. Let's see. Are you embarrassed that I'm showing these?
No.
Oh, look at this one. What is this? I don't know what this is.
Oh yeah, there we go.
What is this about?
This is me being a detective.
Oh yes, Detective Mortgage Sheena is back on the case, ready to debunk more sales myths.
So this is way different than when you first started.
Number two, I mean, this might be a controversial one.
I think that approach in everybody that's watching in entrepreneurship is really taking that first step.
Yeah.
And approaching that line of fear, and you really again. The energy and emotion from that first video to now is just completely different.
Yeah.
Because now it's just comfortable, right?
Right. Yeah. You can't get to step 3 or step 4 without going through step 1 and 2. So you got to go through the fire, and you're not. Yeah. To your point, just start.
And the funny thing is, like, and so many people ask, especially like these videos and everything else. It's like, it's really not that big of a deal. But in hindsight, I can see why you feel it's a big deal today.
Right.
Because you're so afraid to cross that line. You're so afraid to even take that first step.
Right.
And, this is, I think it was 3 years later. We're still doing this stuff. And now it's just, so when I first started this stuff, I used to prep for like 4 hours, reading bios, trying to figure out stuff and determine, what type of person they were. And then, how can I bring this up? How can I have a good interview? And now it's just second nature because that evolution has taken place. and the persistence is there. So that's probably the other thing. Is number one is addressing the fear, but then two, being persistent about it so that you learn and continue to grow off of it.
Right.
Because there's no point in doing it if you don't learn from it.
For sure.
And nothing is perfect when you start either.
What was the best episode that you guys filmed
For which one?
of all time?
Oh man. Best, the one I walked away from the most.
Yeah.
There's so many. I mean, each one, like probably the last one. Are you talking about this episodes, or are you talking about just regular videos?
Just in general, where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm doing this thing.
As a videographer, the best episode is the one we did with Tiffany.
Okay.
You know, just because she carries an emotion, and what I want to do is capture the person's emotion through the lens and have it convey over to the final product. And part of that is underlaying the music, the theme song, like where you're at or where I see you at the time, and then your emotions and how you translate that over to video.
Yeah.
And probably her, since it was the last one.
Right.
But there's been so many other ones. Every one of them has got its own little essence because it's on growth. Like step 1 was significant because of X and Y's reason. Step 10 was significant because of X and Y reason. And then now we're at step 20, and it just keeps evolving. So is there a best one? Best in reflection of like at the time, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like Tiffany.
She will be at the event. So October 20th here, meet Cory and Tiffany at the event. As far as like your message, obviously there is a message you want to send, and it's not so much about mortgages. Is there messaging that you want people to resonate, especially with you and what you're trying to do in your life?
Yeah, great question. We were kind of chatting before this.
Yeah.
With my role, so just background, Rocket Mortgage, obviously huge company. I've been with Rocket for 10 years and took a leap of faith January 10th and created more of like a local version of the team, which is what we do. Yeah. And basically what comes to mind is the cliche, like listening to the universe and seeing signs within the universe. And basically taking the time to step back and interpret some of the signs that you're seeing from the universe. What I mean by that is I wouldn't have taken the leap if I didn't have signs that I saw in my life that I was ready for the next level and the next step and to take this leap of faith. But at the same token, throughout the year, I've been given signs, and this is like a really weird year for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. And some people look at every sign and change directions or change course. So kind of having that inner monologue with yourself and seeing signs for what they are for some situations, and then also kind of talking through other signs and not completely changing course. That would probably be my message that I would give to resonate, if that makes sense.
No. What it resonates with me is that I feel like, okay, more philosophical stuff. I really feel like this journey, we're here physically. Our emotions are probably the most challenging aspect of our lives. Physically, we get it. If we eat too much, we get fat. If we exercise a lot, we get skinny. I mean, the physicality part, like if I eat too much, I'm going to have a heart attack. The physicality part is pretty easy to
science,
quote, digest.
Yeah.
But the emotions part, like some of us, like even today, I feeling overwhelmed at times. I never feel stressed anymore. I just feel overwhelmed. And there are emotions you just can't control. And I think so many people talk about getting to that higher being, the higher spirituality, call it God, call it the universe, whatever you want to call it. That's kind of like the ultimate goal, right, in life is like, I'm here physically, here dealing with these emotions, and I'm trying to get to this ultra physical plane, this universe, this God or heaven, whatever you want to call it. And so it's really the emotions that we're trying to understand. And so I think we neglect ourselves, especially as an entrepreneur, neglect our emotions. We are driven, and of course I am too. I'm driven to do what's best in regards to my passion. And sometimes I do neglect the people around me. Sometimes I do forget that there are other people that want me to be involved in their life. And I have to remind myself of that. But the emotions within there are just overwhelming at times. And I really think that's really the path of what we're here to learn about.
Right.
Is really understanding where they come from and how to use them in the best way. And then once you understand those emotions and how to use them, share it with other people. The more profound part of my life that I'm at right now is, sharing what I've learned with other people, because there's other people that are way far off from where I'm at.
Right.
And I think for you and I, the vehicle is real estate, because you can help them fulfill a dream. You can help them fulfill, something in their life that they've been driven to get their whole life.
Right.
There's that part in there. I think for me, I like real estate in itself because I don't have to make money a part of that in any way.
Right.
I can truly help somebody, and then somebody else pays me. Like if you're a buyer, I don't have to come like, hey, Cory, where's my check? Cory, I sold you that house. I need you to pay me my due.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that with you. I can just enjoy the moment with you, give you your key, and go like, oh shit, we worked on this. We got this. Yeah. Handsome. Sure. And never have to worry about money. That's the part I like about the most. It kind of does not allow that to take place.
Yeah, I mean, you're not necessarily. I mean, you are helping them into a home, but you're not necessarily selling a product. You're not selling like a car to have them drive off the lot. And
it's a dream, man.
Yeah, I mean, you show a lot of gratitude in this industry because, I mean, if you think about it, they're trusting you to be a part of a major significant life event. So like they're letting you in to be a part of it, and it's not so much like I sold you on letting me be a part of it. It's like you connect as you were talking about, and you guys come up with it together like you're coming on this journey with me.
Yeah.
Whereas other industries, like if I was selling cable, like I'm not coming on the journey with you. Like you're getting the cable and we may upgrade you. You know what I mean?
Well, and the reason I bring that up because you see that in that journey through your TikTok. Let me go back through your TikTok. I mean, there's a lot of it that you want to educate and share. And I mean, that's probably not the end of it. I mean, a lot of this is kind of quirky and funny. I mean, yeah. The Taco Tuesday thing is kind of funny. But all this to say, it's like we want to connect with other people. We just can't approach it with an agenda.
Right.
At least that's my message. You really have to come at it in a fiduciary sense, but really setting aside your own feelings and your own agenda to really connect with somebody else. Yeah. And I think agree with me, disagree if you want. I think social media sometimes gets in the way of that, and it only gives people, I guess, a starting place to. I mean, I like calling you the Sheena. It's kind of fun,
Yeah.
It gives you a starting place, but really at the end of the day, you're Cory, and you have other ambitions. You have a family. You have other things, and you're not just a film reel.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, social media falls in the category of marketing, I would say, and like there's not a lot of marketing category stuff that goes super deep, unless it's like that Alanis Morissette commercial where those dogs are like, you need to donate to the dogs. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't watch TV, so I have no idea what you're talking
really
about.
Sad.
If you know what Cory's talking about, please drop a line.
That goes deep. You'll shed a tear if you watch that. But yeah,
I'll probably pull it up after.
Yeah, you should. No, you shouldn't actually.
So we're coming to the end of the show. So I want to, thank Cory for coming on. October 20th is going to be our event. So the link is down below if you want to buy tickets. Meet Cory, meet Danielle Williams, meet Steve Bacon, and so many others here at RCO Network on October 20th. If there was a prevailing message, I know we talked about it before. If there was something that you want people to walk away knowing Cory for. Mm-hmm. What would that be, sir? Is that too much of a question?
Knowing me for.
What do you want people to remember you about?
What do I want people to remember me about? My TikTok. No, I mean, I like to... What I would say is I like to approach things kind of similar to you, where I do a lot of thinking and a lot of self-talk and a lot of planning and a lot of... Yeah. I care really a lot about what I fill my days with. And I choose to fill my days with what I do from a career standpoint, which is Phoenix, Rocket Mortgage, and some of the other stuff I have going on. And the reason why I do that is because it's been the people that I've been surrounded with have created somebody totally different than who I was 10 years ago. And I continue to build on that. Yeah. And now I'm at that stage where I'm confident. I know my lane. I know where I'm going, and it's a cool place to be. So the people I communicate with, if they're on that same level, it's great. It's a thriving conversation. If they're above my level, I want to get to know you really in a really big way. And if not to say you'd be below the level, but if there was opportunity for you to get to a certain level, I want to help and be a part of that as well. So that'd be my party message.
How old are you, Cory?
32.
32. When did you start your mortgage career?
22.
So when you were 22, got your license, and you're like, if you could travel in time.
Yeah.
Meet yourself right at that moment you got that license.
Yeah.
What would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself that people care way more about authenticity than that you need to be this mortgage professional pro and you have it all figured out and you have to put on this facade. That was like a really big learning curve. It took me about 2 years to learn, and it was 2 years too late. But I was totally somebody different when interacting in a business world than who I was in the real world, because I thought no one wanted to help home purchase out with a 22-year-old kid that just graduated college that partied on the weekends. But they ended up wanting to because I'm a good person. They
ambitious, you know. I'd say, you know, confidence too. I mean, you're a very confident person in your presence, and I'm sure at 22 you had it all together. Maybe. Yeah, I know. So follow Cory on Instagram here at Phoenix Team Rocket Mortgage. We just started the new page, right?
Yeah, that's our Phoenix team.
Yeah, Bryan was supposed to be here, but Bryan skipped out.
Yeah, Bryan shook his many hands.
Yeah, he had other obligations to get to, so we missed Bryan. We hoped we could have been here today, but that's okay.
He will be at the event.
He will be at the event. So.
Yes, you miss him today, he'll be at the event.
So go ahead and go to Instagram, Phoenix Team Rocket Mortgage, and also follow Cory here on TikTok. Where is it again? I'm pulling it up. Mortgage_Machina. Cory, the Machina Sheena. You go
sir.
Machina Sheena? Is it like a double wash?
Yeah,
Machina
it's too
Sheena?
many.
But again, visit Cory here on RCO Network, October 20th, right in our lobby office. It's going to be a great event, and hopefully you guys catch it soon.
I'm pumped.
You get the last word, Cory. What do you got to say?
Another last word. Everybody get a TikTok. Everybody get a TikTok.
Everybody get a TikTok. So until
on TikTok.
until next time, we'll catch you here. RCO Network, Rob Morales. See you guys.